Welcome back to another episode of Once Upon a Movie. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Draco Mays, and he's joining us from Chicago, Illinois. Let's get into it. Thank you for being here. Once Upon a Movie, I created this podcast because I want to be able to hear other people's stories when it comes to film and when it comes to our journey in film. And I don't mean it necessarily from a standpoint of like a technical aspect or anything like that. I'm talking about just our love for cinema, where it started, and realistically, you being able to tell that side of your story that you may not ever have spoken about before. So I got to just ask right off the gate, when did your cinema journey start?
See, my cinema journey started very early on. I've always been infatuated with movies since the single digits, early single digits. Like literally 4 years old, I was always watching movies, TV as well, but movies was my thing. I had an uncle that let me borrow movies, being 4 years old. What are the odds you getting it back? It's not like I can drive myself, but they never tripped over it. Let me keep the movies. I even have some still to this day. I have like in my collection all around here. Then I had another uncle that I actually lived with, and he let me borrow movies all the time. But since I live with him, he's gonna get them back. Just taking stuff here and there. That's how I got my love for a lot of movies. He had a lot of kids' movies. I don't know if he did that on purpose for me and for my other cousins and all that, but he did his one with that one. One thing I remember watching a lot, Back to the Future trilogy, loved it. He had like a cool little set. I made a video on TikTok about generational cinema. That movie is generational cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you're going to show your kids Back to the Future and they're going to love it.
Oh, absolutely.
So stuff like that, let me borrow movies, but especially the introduction of on demand, Comcast changed my life. And because we have the premium channels as well, HBO stars and all that, so I'm just clicking through everything. I'm watching any and everything, and especially when DVR, when you get to record movies, like I promise you, I was recording everything. My auntie wanted to record Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives or something. Ain't enough space for that. I'm sorry. IFC, especially IFC, Sci-Fi, they had a lot of stuff, but of course the other premium channels, everything full of they like my family was like Jalen. Gotta slow down on some of the stuff, man. You're taking up too much space. But like I was watching stuff religiously. Comcast was my best friend.
So that's an early age to get started in movies. So do you remember the first movie that had a significant impact on you, and why do you think that movie struck such a chord?
Definitely Incredibles. Like that is still to this day my number one Pixar movie. Loved it so much that I wanted my sister's name to be Violet.
Wow.
And of course my mom is like, no, not doing that one. But one of my aunties, she still calls my sister Violet to this day as a little inside joke. So Incredibles was that movie. Well, especially as a boy in general, I feel like boys grow up around superhero culture way more than a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now superhero culture is a little bit different. I feel like in the early 2000s, it wasn't necessarily a niche, but it definitely wasn't as mainstream. Like you couldn't just go up to a random person on the street and be like, "What's Iron Man's origin story?"
Right.
Like I don't know. It's some people to this day you can ask and they wouldn't know. But
Yeah.
like the MCU really changed the game for people. But before the MCU, when all you had was Saturday morning cartoons, or you had to actually read a comic, like just being a boy in general, you're more infatuated to that, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Like what's the name? But Incredibles, it's in the superhero genre. It's a movie. Why would I not love it? Like, come on now, it's Disney, Pixar at that. They had the streak, the back to back bangers.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibles was definitely one of them. To this day, I just love it. I saw it in theaters actually last year. I don't know why I re-released. Like they was doing, I guess Disney 100 re-releases. Saw it in theaters. Literally was like me, my friend, and two other people. I'm like, y'all don't want to experience the cinema? Like, come on now, it's a banger. Come on now.
Yeah.
And it was $5 Tuesday. Y'all don't want to show off for $5 Tuesday?
I saw Incredibles much later in life. I was a lot older. And all I'm going to say is shout out to Mrs. Incredible. So I'm going to drink on that. Um, you have all this knowledge of movies from your uncle, your other uncle that you lived with. You have all of these movies at your disposal, right? And you're growing up watching so much stuff. How has your taste in movies changed over the years, and what do you think has influenced these changes?
The biggest recent change I would say is TikTok, being exposed to other people who love movies and different recommendations and all that. Let me just say social media in general. Social media in general definitely does. Because when I was in high school, like towards the end, around COVID times, I was getting into film Twitter. I literally downloaded Twitter for one reason only. because my high school did a thing called Last Night as a Viking, and people were exposing and all that and blah blah blah. Just being messy. But outside of that, I'm engaging with people talking about letterbox and movies and all this and that, and literally every single movie that looked a little itty bit, literally the slightest bit interesting, screenshots, screenshots, screenshots. So many screenshots of movies. I literally had to like clear hundreds and hundreds of screenshots because my storage was running low. So then the introduction of Letterbox, that luckily helped me take those screenshots, put them on watch list. Bam, perfect app for that. If we want to take it all the way back, my taste in movies changed just pretty much as I matured and learned more. As a kid, I watched a lot of, kiddie type things.
Hmm.
When I was like 10, 11, that's when I started maturing a little bit with things I watched. Like I watched a lot of rated R things pretty early. I shouldn't have, but I turned out fine. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But that's when the very first Tarantino movie I saw was Kill Bill.
Hmm.
That might be a lie. I got to think. Django is actually my first one. I saw
Oh,
that in theaters actually at 9 years old.
damn.
Very late showing as well. I don't think I left remembering anything really, but I was like, that was a cool movie. That was pretty cool. Like I mentioned, the access to DVR, recording things,
Yeah.
Xfinity and all that, Comcast on demand. When I was like 10, 11, I stayed literally the summer from fifth grade to sixth grade. I stayed on the movie channels. I watched Kill Bill Volume 1. I don't know if I saw Volume 2, but probably did. But definitely Volume 1. Jurassic Park, saw that for the first time. I'm like, yo, this a banger right here. Jurassic Park's a banger. That's kind of like, those are like more classic movies that like
Yeah.
everybody should see in their life. I was watching stuff like that. But even now, I still watch not necessarily the mainstream cinema stuff, and it may misconstrue your opinion or my views for liking it, such as the Resident Evil series. I rocked with the zombies. What can I say?
Didn't you win a steelbook for Resident
From
Evil?
movies with Leo.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember you commented when you saw that they had announced it, and I was like, "Yeah, it'd be great if it was worth them." I said some dumb shit,
Yeah, but no,
because
I'll agree with you though, because 170.
that's a lot.
Mm, but getting it for free.
That's pretty good. I never say no to a good 5 finger discount. That's for damn sure.
Exactly.
That's for damn sure. Is there a particular aspect of filmmaking that like fascinates you the most, like directing, writing, or cinematography, and why? Why is that?
Well, the thing I like the most is storytelling. Right now, not having a budget, really doing everything out of pocket, and especially barely out of pocket. I barely hey, friends come here for free. I'll buy you something to eat, but we don't got just money on money. But I like storytelling. I have a million stories that I want to tell. I just need the opportunity to do it, to grow and all that. But just the process of filmmaking in general is what I love. But definitely storytelling is the main aspect. I'm starting to get more into writing. I used to suck at writing in high school. It was so unnatural because I feel like I have my own type of jargon, my own type of way of talking, and putting that on paper, it doesn't. I feel like it's only a me thing. Everybody else can do what I do. So if somebody's reading it, like, ugh, this makes no sense. This is weird. And it's like, you know what? They're actually right. So this year it's really locking in with the writing and getting that down pat. It's just every aspect of filmmaking I like. I'm pretty much a one man band right now. Producer, editor, DP, director, writer, light person, gaffer, everything.
That's what's
Like
up.
it's behind the scene. I don't know if you remember on TikTok, I had posted some behind the scenes. I was directing while also holding the mic in the scene as well.
No, you weren't. I never saw that.
Yes, I was in a restaurant, and it was even another thing that I did. Same thing. I had a diffuser. Had to put it literally in the chair that the dude was sitting in. Had to because it's like I'm here by myself. They're the ones sitting down. They can't help me behind the camera. People
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
available. So it's like you got to do it all yourself, and it's out of the love and the passion because I wouldn't just be doing it for free randomly when I could be at home doing literally anything else.
That's crazy.
But that's why you got to pay people because people are more akin to do something for the money. I'm paying for college out of pocket. I got my own things to pay for, car insurance, phone bill, all that. Also, we got a movie collection to build, guys. Come on
Hmm.
now.
It's
But
true.
I do hope I can get to that point to get a budget and all that to grow and not have to do everything myself. Even though I like being in full control, it definitely would help to have more hands on deck. But that just goes to show not everybody has the same passion. I love my friends, but the passion just isn't just not the same way. It would be down to help, but like I don't want to hinder what they have in their life to help me.
Perfect example of a guy who does better with a very low budget. M. Night Shyamalan. All right. That man was given a lot of money very early on and was very ambitious. And a lot of the bigger budget films later in his career didn't do as well. And when he finally kind of like tanked, and I mean it like tanked because he never really did. At the end of the day, his movies were always very profitable. A lot of studios felt like it was a risk to keep him from making these kinds of movies. So most of the stuff that M. Night comes out with now, it's self-financed on a very small budget. And having that smaller budget forces you as a creative to come up with ideas on a much more cost-effective way, right?
Hmm.
So having those limitations, sometimes if we work with it rather than against it, it could be really beneficial. And in your case, even as in mine, some of the stuff that I've come up with, the poor man's do-it-yourself method, I'm proud of myself. I've had people ask me, "How did you do that?" I remember I did a short film called Eyes. I was the DP in that film. My boy, who I was telling you about from my days in high school, he was the director on it, and we were given, I believe it was 3 words, and we had to create a short film with those 3 words. We had to shoot it in less than 48 hours, have it edited and handed in. One of the words was eyes, the other one was CD, and I forget what the third word was. But basically, I came up with this idea of this serial killer who lures his girls downstairs to, like, hang out in his house, and he likes to take a trophy from each one of the girls. And one of the trophies was going to be this girl's eyes.
Hmm.
And we're like, how the hell are we going to shoot this man taking out this chick's eye? And I was like, I got it. Because I would watch a lot of, like, well, I wouldn't, I still do. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I used to. Bullshit. I watch all the special features on all my movies. I watch all of the director commentaries, the actors commentaries, the associate producer all of them. And in those commentaries, I learned about a specific gag that they did with something to make it look like an eye, and they basically used an egg. They did a hard
Oh wow.
boiled egg, and as the egg was boiling, they took it out and they cracked it, and then they put it back in the boiling water. And what happens is the egg white start coming through the cracks. So then when you peel it off, it looks like it's like mutated into this thing. And then we got some food coloring and a quick cut. We made it look like he took the eye out and then dropped it in a glass of water. And you see it
Oh
like
wow.
full up. I mean, it looked legit. People were like, "Yo, how did you guys manage to pull that off in less than 2 days?" But it was something silly like that, and because of just, hey, you don't have a budget. We had maybe $20 to our name at that time. We couldn't afford anything else. We had to use one of their eggs from the apartment. Like, sorry, but we need this. I think the food coloring was the only thing that we ended up spending on. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like those those budget constraints will definitely prove in the end and will make you a
Yeah.
more versatile creator in whatever aspect it is you're doing. So I commend that, man. When you talk about your friends and all that, like you're known as the movie guy in middle school and you're known as the movie guy now, has that in some way affected you on a personal level? Like, do you see some of the friends that maybe you used to hang out with back in the day go a whole different route than you did? And could you be like, if I wasn't into this as much, would I be doing something completely different? Would you be involved in a whole different lifestyle? Like, did movies play any part in this way of molding kind of the person that you are and the decisions that you've made from like a very early, kid to where you're at now?
It definitely has. I do think about what would I do if I wasn't on this film path. But since I've been on the path of being a director since I was literally 7, which a lot of people can't say they have figured out what they want to do in their life. People my age, I'm going on to my senior year of college. People I'm going to graduate with, they probably still don't know what they want to do outside of college, realistically. But since what's that, the past 13 going on 14 years, I was like, director, that's it. We're not changing it. Of course, there were different avenues. Like, if I wasn't interested in film, I might have been a music producer. I've always felt like music, like I just felt it in my soul, my bones. Even music score, movie scores. I like that a lot. I have a whole
Mhm.
playlist on Spotify called Movie Score Tracks. Listen to it every time I do homework. I just feel it. But of course, that's movie related. But outside of movies, same
Yeah,
thing. I
yeah.
just like music a lot. I never felt like movies hindered me from doing anything. Definitely made my decisions better. Like I mentioned, I purposely went to the high school I went
Mhm.
to further my filmmaking career. Like literally to this day, I will always thank my film teacher, Mr. Holdren. He helped me get to where I am. Even though in high school, I'm gonna be real, I was not good in high school. Had the potential, but I wasn't that good. I didn't get decent until like my senior year. But that's just, immaturity, lollygagging. Like I said earlier, my friends weren't taking it as serious. Kind of hard to motivate some people when they want to do the bare minimum. Also, my ideas were kind of ambitious, but neither here nor there. We all gotta learn. I could have did sports stuff. Like I remember going to a track meet, like the meeting to sign up for track. And I was looking at the schedule. I was like, you see, I could do this, or I could stay after school and work on film instead of running. Think of that. Even though I needed the exercise, not gonna lie, but the passion was more important.
I respect that. I respect that. Back to movies. Is there a
Mhm.
movie scene that you would want to share with us that has maybe stayed with you over time? And why is that scene so memorable to you?
See, that's a good one. As a kid, I did watch a lot of horror, maybe a little too early than many
No
will
such thing.
say. Exactly. I watched literally Child's Play, Seed of Chucky. I seen Seed of Chucky before the first Child's Play. I seen that when I was like 7. Then I seen Child's Play later on, and that really started my role for horror. But then I gotta really think. Something that stuck with me. I'm looking at my collection right now. I wasn't too tuned in with the cinema
Hmm.
when I was younger. Mainly horror, of course, kid stuff. But a scene that stuck with me, I really gotta think about that one. That's a good question.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything like deep, I guess, but it could be like for me, Final Destination, The Plane. That movie fucked me up for life. That stayed with me every single
Yeah,
time I have to fly out. I always think it's my last flight. That's just how it is.
Candyman. I'll say
Okay.
Candyman, but the biggest reason to why it stuck with me is because my dad made me go in the bathroom and do the Candyman challenge
Shut
directly
up.
afterwards.
No, he did not.
Traumatized. I was like
What?
9. I came out the bathroom crying and literally praying. I was like, please, God, please. I was so scared. My dad, he did that to show me like it's all fake. It's not real because you see
Okay.
nothing happen to you. And I'm like, you know what? You're actually right. And literally from that point on, movies stopped affecting me as much as they did, to be
Okay.
honest. 'Cause I'm like, you know what? Nothing's gonna happen.
But damn,
But
that's
still,
traumatizing though.
no, it is. But still, I was because especially being in the Chicagoland area, I'm like,
Yeah.
Candyman could be up the street for all I know. He could be just fly on down with the hook. But now, watching it, I'm like, this movie ain't even that bad.
Yeah.
Candyman is more of a thriller than horror, realistically.
Yeah.
But that child's mind gets to you.
Kids' imagination, it goes a long, long way. Is there a film that you have a personal connection with? Maybe one that mirrors an experience or phase in your life?
The start of my real film phase, and that was like starting high school, doing the film classes and all that. The Prestige, to this day, is
Mm.
still one of my favorite movies. I was gonna say The Cat in the Hat, but I wanted to get real cinematic with you. But well, I used to like Nolan. I know it's like a stereotypical thing, a film bro thing to love Christopher Nolan, but like genuinely, he's a good director, and you shouldn't be looked down upon or like a film bro for liking his stuff. But The Prestige, that was my movie. I literally watched it like back to back. Same with Inception. I watched it like 2 times in a week. Almost 3 hour long movie. No joke. I'm locked in with the cinema now. My film teacher was like, he literally said, watch Nolan's whole filmography. We watched Memento. We didn't watch Insomnia, but we really watched Memento, Dark Knight, Dunkirk, Prestige, like Inception. We did not watch Interstellar though. He didn't want to give us too much, but we watched maybe like half at the time of his stuff, and that made me open my eyes. Like I could do this. Like I could do this. Like this ain't even too much.
Not part of my questions, but I want to know what is your favorite Nolan movie?
Oh, the Prestige
It
is.
is for sure. Okay. And what's your
Yeah.
least favorite?
My least favorite right now. People not gonna like this. It might be Interstellar, but
Really?
not a bad rating. Let me see my letterbox real quick. I have to rewatch a few of his movies, but
I
the
need to
following
rewatch
would
Memento.
I do too. I have the special collection thingy with the
Hmm.
jumbled up menu.
Hmm. I was
Literally, the beginning of this year, I said I got to rewatch his whole filmography off that Oppenheimer hype.
Yeah, I was too. I don't know if I was too young or I was too immature. I think I was just too immature to appreciate Memento because I didn't care for it. I
Mm,
just didn't care for it at all. And I think I saw it, but I saw it without really paying attention to it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I definitely got to give it another go. I have to. My least favorite is Oppenheimer.
What is it, like a bad rating, or just like out of everything, it's just least favorite?
So I actually fell asleep for 30 minutes watching it in the theaters. I thought that the editing was really off. I felt that
Like kind of fast, like
pace was really the first hour was like boom 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 boom
it
boom.
was.
And I was like, what is going on? This is so I feel like the movie has a 6 hour cut somewhere.
Probably does.
And they were like, we need to trim it down by a lot. And I don't know, I did not enjoy it as much. I was also tired. Don't get me wrong, I'm a dad of two girls. You know, they keep me up at night. And when
Hmm.
I do get a chance to go to the movies, like sometimes it's like I don't want to miss out on them, so I go like really late. Listen, I also fell asleep during The Dark Knight. So, and I was young at the time, so I didn't have an excuse then, but the Dark Knight's actually my least favorite of the Dark Knight
Trilogy.
trilogy. So,
Oh wow.
because I'm a big Batman fan, I love Batman, and I didn't think that that was a Batman movie. I think
You
it's a
see?
great crime thriller film.
Yes. I love The Dark Knight, but as much as I do, I can be like, yes, this movie will literally work if you take out the superhero characters.
Yeah.
You could make them anybody,
Mm-hmm.
still will work.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman Begins, I feel like, is slightly underrated because people hype up Dark Knight so much.
Yeah.
I became a Batman Begins truther last year.
Okay.
At first, my whole like for a big chunk of my life, I was like, this movie's kind of slow, a tad bit boring, a little bit,
Okay.
but still a 7 out of 10. I rewatched it when The Dark Knight got re-released in theaters. I'm like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Easy 9 out of 10. I love it now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful. There's the what I call the Batman isms, the Batman moments, you know, that the Dark Knight didn't have. Like there's, you know, at the very end when he says his line to Ra's al Ghul, and then his cape opens up and he just flies out of the
Yeah, that was
like, come
that's hard.
on, you know what I mean?
That's
Like
hard.
that's that
I don't
Batman
save you.
shit that I want. Yeah, like that's. Oh man, I'm a huge Batman. I have the Ben Affleck statue in my living not well not my living room, my rec room. So I have like this
Oh, that's cool.
massive like it's full half torso of him. Like I
Oh wow.
love Batman, and you know up until what's his face Christian Bale, that was my favorite Batman. But then Batty, you know, Daddy Affleck came through, and I was like, God damn, that dude was brolic as fuck, and I was like, yo, this guy's it. This dude is the real deal.
You like him as a Batman specifically, or just like the Snyder movies in general, more than the Dark Knight?
No, I like him as Batman more. I think he was a better Batman, and I felt like he was a great Bruce Wayne. You know, and the
Mhm.
Snyder movies I like, but I preferred the R-rated cut of Batman v Superman over the theatrical. I thought the theatrical was a mess, and when I saw the R-rated cut, I was like, why would they cut the story out? Like this made sense. Like you already had us at Batman v Superman. You didn't need to make it 2.5 hours to make sure, you know, like people are
Yeah,
already gonna go see your movie. Don't worry that it's 3 hours long. You
yeah.
cut out core elements of the story that made the whole film make sense, you know? But anyways, I digress. I'm just fucking from the time that you've been watching movies until now, and you also being a part of the industry because you are a creator as well in this space. How do you feel that the movie industry has evolved during your lifetime, and what changes have been essentially the most significant for you?
Well, definitely the streaming era, because I grew up in that, that era
Mm-hmm.
when I was like maybe 8 years old. That's when Netflix was really, becoming on and popping. Had it since like 2011. The accessibility of more movies on the go and all that definitely helped me because just seeing more inspires me more. Also, with knowing that they fund these movies, Netflix originals, Hulu originals, all these things, it's like maybe one day I can actually get a chance to do it because they be making BS. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I don't gotta make the BS. You can pay them to make the BS, but you can pay me to make some, some good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you give them a chance, why not give me a chance? Because I am the one and only Draco Mays. You gotta sell yourself. Sell yourself in that producer's room.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
respect
my
that,
biggest
man.
thing.
I love that. A lot of people don't believe in themselves, even to even mention it out loud. So you doing what you're doing, man. Just you're young, bro. You already did so much more than I ever did at your age. So props to you for that, man, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me ask you this. What movie would you recommend to somebody wanting to understand your love for cinema? What is the one film that you're gonna go, I need you to understand my love comes from. You need to watch this. What's that movie?
I feel like it'll all vary on the person, but I feel like a good old crime thriller cannot go wrong. So I'd say watch Seven and then get back to me.
Okay. I love that. Love it's a great movie, man. What's in the box? I still got to show that to my wife. My wife wants to see it. She always I always yell at her. I'm like, "What's in the box?" She's like, "What is that from?" I'm like, "This we'll get there one day. We'll get there one day." You can't just throw that movie at them
Yeah,
like that. Like it's they got to.
especially
That's a heavy
yes.
film. That's a heavy film. That's like still to this day, it's one of the best, absolute best. Is there a movie that has affected you in an emotional, space, like deeply? Something that it just and not necessarily like traumatic, like Candyman, that changed your perspective on things, maybe.
Well, emotionally, like we thinking like to tears type of emotional,
Yeah, yeah,
or just
yeah.
I have not cried to a movie yet. I want to so bad.
Wow.
The closest movie to get me though was Eternal Sunshine because the idea of even though the relationship was over, the idea of losing all the memories of that person
Mhm.
is not fun. And I don't know. There's a certain scene. I was literally getting ready for school. So like I was watching on TV, then I put it on my phone to like do my hair, wash my face, and all that.
Mhm.
And I was looking at myself in the mirror like my eyes are red. What's going on? Because I don't know, just the outlook on relationships in general that inspires me now to want to make relationship based things. Eternal Sunshine definitely did motivate me because I'm not the biggest relationship genre lover in general. I can probably count, like outside of rom coms,
Mhm.
possibly can count on these hands how many romance movies I've actually seen. Maybe I'm over exaggerating just a little bit, but they be hiding the romance genre and a lot of other things. But I don't know, like strictly romance based things, I need to get more into that. Literally in this book right here, if you know where it's
Ha.
from, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
I write down all my film ideas, and there's a lot of relationship things in there. Why? Maybe Eternal Sunshine, maybe real life experience, maybe it's a mixture of both.
That's interesting that you've never actually cried at all during any movie. And I mean, you've seen some pretty heavy stuff. Do you find yourself being like? Do you consider yourself an empathetic person?
I do. At the same time, in some cases, I don't. Like I still do have feelings and emotions. Like I might pout my lip, but I won't shed a tear. Like I watched Grave of the Fireflies. I didn't cry.
Okay.
So somebody like when I first started off on TikTok, I did was doing movie challenges, like 30-day movie challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and on one of them, something about a movie that made you cry. I said I don't have one that made me cry, and a person in the comments said, "Watch Grave of the Fireflies. If you don't cry, then you're soulless."
Mm.
Literally a year later, like on the date, a year later, I made a video saying, "I watched it. I guess I have no soul." Like it's very sad. I can acknowledge it, but like I'm not to tears.
Gotcha. That's interesting, man. Like I'm the complete opposite. I'm very empathetic. Just today, just to give you an example of how much of a bitch I am when it comes to my feelings, and I say that jokingly because I didn't have a father in my life to learn from. I didn't have it as an example. Everybody in my life was it was my mother, my grandma, my aunt, and I had four uncles, but they weren't worried about me. You know what I mean? Like I was
Hmm.
raised essentially by women, so I'm very empathetic. And like my daughter, she's 5 years old, and this is even before having kids. But I'll give you an example. Today, she had taekwondo classes, and I took her. This is her third class, okay, and she's already earned 3 stripes. Okay,
Hey, that's good.
3 stripes. Like she is onto it because I showed her the Matrix at the age of 3, and not the whole movie, just the dojo scene between Neo and Morpheus. And
Hmm.
ever since then, dude, every time, Daddy, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? And she does the Morpheus thing, like she looks at me, and we've always play fighted. Like we've just always play fighted. So I was like, it's the one thing that she always wants to do, and I'm like, maybe I should put her in some classes. So, anyways, take her to class, and she gets this third stripe, and she is so excited. And I just started tearing right there, bro. Started tearing. It didn't even take a second. My eyes just swole up, and immediately it was like those like dramatic ass like slow tears. You know, I was like,
He's a
damn.
proud father.
For me, it's very easy, and this is before being married. You know, before having kids. Like I never wanted to get married. I never wanted to have kids. That was never in my and that just was not a thing. You would have asked me this shit 10 years ago, like, fuck no, I'm never getting married. I'm never having kids. I met my wife, everything changed. Um,
Yeah, that's how it goes.
but even back then, I was always still a very emotional person. If anything, my emotions have been enhanced being a husband and a father because, you know, I get to revisit certain films and it's not the same experience anymore because now I'm looking at it through the point of view of a dad, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, damn, this shit hit me hard. There's a movie that I have. It's called The Girl Next Door. And it's the only time that I've ever kind of been vulnerable on a post. I did a post about this movie because somebody asked me what my one film is that like has stayed with me forever. And that's that movie. And I saw this before I was married. I saw this before I ever met my wife. So again, my thought process is never getting married, never having kids. And
Mhm.
that movie broke my heart. Like it broke me. And
I think I've seen this post.
yeah, and even when I was talking about it, I got teary eyed. I didn't think I would, and I did. I was like, God damn, I could never watch. I don't know if I can watch it now. Like I don't know. I don't think I can fucking sit there and go through that again. Especially now as dad having two
Yeah.
girls. I don't know. Anyways, beside the point.
Mhm.
Let's move on. Um, are there any filmmakers or actors whose careers you've followed closely, and what draws you to their work?
Definitely Nolan, as I mentioned before.
Hmm.
Really got into his work early on in my cine stage.
Okay.
I have a certain term, my cine journey,
Hmm.
in high school and all that. Tarantino, I forget it was a question you asked me, but the audio was glitching too much. We didn't get to it. But I was going to talk about Tarantino being a big influence on me. I liked his work a lot in high school, a lot, a lot. But he's one of them other people that's like, oh, you just film, bro, type of thing, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes the film bros are right. Sometimes they may be going about their opinions wrong.
Hmm.
But hey, Tarantino and Nolan, they got it. They
Hmm.
make good work.
Yeah.
You don't gotta like everything, but they got good work. Why am I still holding this book? They got good stuff. So I will definitely Nolan follow him. And also, I didn't talk about Oppenheimer. You didn't like it. I liked it, but I didn't love it like everybody else. It wasn't my number one. Wasn't in my top five. Wasn't in my top 10.
Yeah.
Barely was in my top 20.
Hmm.
I liked it. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
First time I saw it, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and everybody acted like the world was over. It was ending.
It's crazy how
But
like you can just not have the same opinion on a movie and people lose their fucking mind. Like
yes,
it just happens. Sometimes it's just how it happens.
the first time I gave Dune, I mean, the first time I saw Dune, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And one of my mutuals literally said, bro, I'm literally about to, I don't know if I can say the word, but myself. I'm like, dude, 8 out of 10 is literally a good score. It's a good
Yeah,
score. He's like,
absolutely.
no, for this masterpiece, it only gets 5. I rewatched it this weekend. I gave it 5 out of 5. But little secret, I did fall asleep for like 30 minutes, but we're not going to talk about it. Seeing the movie in full boosted my score. But actually, now, Denis Villeneuve, I've been rocking with his stuff a little bit for a while, so I definitely will continue to follow him in his career. David Fincher as well. I need to watch more of his filmography, like maybe like 4 movies, but from what I've seen, he has 3 5 out of 5s, 1 9 out of 10, and the rest are 8 out of 10. So like 3 5 out of 5s alone, he's my number one director off that alone.
Okay.
Nolan don't got no 3 5 out of 5s for me. I might be lying. I have to check my letterbox, but he's up there. Tarantino has 1, 2 9 out of 10s. So he's up there too of my favorites and all that. But Matthew Vaughn though,
Hmm.
people didn't like Argyle. I might have been I was very excited for Argyle because I love Matthew Vaughn. Kick Ass, Kingsman, X Men First Class, some of my favorite movies ever. Hold them near and dear to my heart, especially Kick Ass. That's probably like the second movie I've seen the most amount of times in my life, pushing 10 times. I'm not the type to rewatch a movie continuously, so 10 times for a movie to be seen, it's kind of a lot for me.
Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn's career, even though Argyle wasn't the best, I still found enjoyment in it. I feel like Edgar Wright, he can come back. He's gonna make a comeback. Just wait, guys. Just wait a minute. Edgar Wright as well. I don't know what he has cooking up next, but I'm a big fan. The Cornetto trilogy is one of the most popular trilogies out here for a reason. Everybody loves Scott Pilgrim for a reason. Baby Driver's a banger for a reason. Edgar Wright, he's that guy.
Did you see what was it? One Night in Soho. Is
That's the only one I haven't seen.
okay. I won't say
That's one
anything
thing
then.
I regret. Yeah, but that's one thing I regret. When I turned 18 and I was able to drive and be out on my own, COVID was dying down and all that. I regret not going to the show as much as I should have because the theater was literally barely 10 minutes away from me.
Ooh,
I'm financially free enough to go to the movies. They even had $6 Thursdays on top of $5 Tuesdays. I could have took advantage of all that. It was only if you were a student though, so it's like bring your ID and you can get in.
okay.
Should have took advantage.
In your opinion, what is the most magical aspect of cinema and how has it influenced your appreciation for movies?
Cinematography, beautiful visuals, get you hooked. I just went to a film festival last Thursday. It was a lot of foreign films, and I came in a little bit late, but I missed like maybe a minute or two. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but like it was cooking behind the camera. They was cooking. I was very confused about the story because it was literally for one, it wasn't in English. There was no words in general. There was a lady texting a guy, eat shit, eat shit, eat shit, eat shit, blocking him, unblocking him. I'm like, did I miss like half the movie? But it ended up being like a relationship thing. But I wish, like, if I was able to send you the link to it, I'll send it to you right now because you would look at it and be like, this is literally breathtaking. Like, it's cinema, you know? I just love pretty visuals. Everybody loves Roger Deakins. He knows how to work behind the camera.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like a movie story as much, I feel like you can always appreciate its cinematography.
Hmm.
You can always be like, look, just looking, oh, just like 5 out of 10 though. But y'all cook right there.
Yeah. I ask this to every single guest that I've had on before we finish. It's a silly question, but I just like to know where you stand on it. Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie?
I just watched Die Hard not too long ago, and I say yes.
Okay.
In my
What
letterbox review, I literally said that. I literally said this is a Christmas movie.
okay. What makes it a Christmas movie in your opinion?
Well, one is centered around Christmas time, so that's even though it doesn't necessarily equate to being a Christmas movie just because Christmas happens, but it is at a Christmas party.
Hmm.
There is Christmas music.
Hmm.
There are Christmas references as well.
Okay.
Let me see my letterbox review real quick. We all know the age old debate, is this a Christmas movie? And I would 100% think yes. It takes place in a Christmas office party, just like a movie of the same name. That movie's a Christmas movie. Office Christmas Party is a Christmas movie. Why can't this one? Has Christmas music in the main menu and in the movie.
Okay.
Has references to it being Christmas by the characters. I said it's more of a Christmas movie than Silent Night from last year.
Oh, the John Woo one.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. There's so many
Mhm.
movies called Silent Night. I had to go through them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Even though Christmas isn't like the main center of the movie, I'd say it's a Christmas movie.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Draco Mays thinks that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. You can agree with him or disagree with him, but the man clearly knows what he's talking about. So, and if you don't already,
100%.
he's got a
Typed all that
letterbox.
for a reason.
Follow his letterbox. The man is active on letterbox. He's writing reviews. You could check out more of his stuff there. Where else can people find you? And anything that you want to plug, anything you got coming up, you want to share, let them know.
Oh, definitely. Draco Mays, literally on pretty much all social media. Might have a 97 at the end, depending on the app. TikTok, Draco Mays 97. Instagram is just Draco Mays. Twitter, Draco Mays 97. What else do I use? That's the main ones. YouTube, just Draco Mays. Music videos, short films, interviews with rappers, business owners. A lot of things are on my YouTube channel. I'm even trying to start. See, it's just life is life, but also my YouTube channel. I'm going to start reacting to my old work so y'all can see my growth. I've already made a interview, like a reaction to an interview that I did 4 years ago when I was a junior in high school and seeing my growth as a creator. I did a reaction to my very first music video as Draco Mays, and you can compare it to my work now and back then. It's a very drastic change. But I'm trying to get more, critiquing my old work more. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So I got to be honest with you guys. I started my TikTok account August of last year, August of 2023. So I don't know how many months that is now, 7, 8 months, something like that. And I came across this dude's profile very early on, maybe like 2 months in. And I got to be honest, he was one of the first film talk people that I came across. I loved his personality, very infectious, the way he speaks, his knowledge in films. And the most astonishing thing about it was his age. When I learned how old he was, and seeing him in the world of physical media was like, it gave me hope that other young individuals like himself can appreciate physical media and continue it, because it is, for all intents and purposes, it's a dying format, and
It is.
it's up to people like us to kind of keep that going. So when I see somebody like yourself, young age, collecting some great movies, you picked up that Scream box set recently. Much respect for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you did the right thing there, but man, I just want to say you are definitely on the right path. I'm excited to see what else you got coming up. And maybe, I don't know, we could possibly collab on something. I'm only 4 hours away from you. So,
Hey,
we're neighbors. I'm out here in Des
yeah.
Moines. So, it's not far. And I was just in Chicago last week, and
Oh wow.
I gotta go back again next week. I do a lot of photo shoots out in Chicago. So,
Hmm.
I'm out there a lot. I shot a music video out there in October. Um, I shot a live concert there in December. And
Oh
yeah,
wow.
man, I'm there a lot. So I think we should collab on something. I think it'd be dope as hell. Get
Definitely
to meet the Draco Mays in person. And
in person.
I may even have something for him because of something he mentioned here, but I'm gonna keep that
For
hush.
me,
I'm gonna keep
for
that
me.
hush. I think he deserves it because I don't have a place for it, and I think it would be better off in your hands. So yeah, man. Appreciate you being here,
Appreciate.
dude. Thank you so much, man. And
I appreciate the invite.
please check them out. All socials, I'll put them in the description. And that's it. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.